Well, hello again, everybody. I'd just like to say that I'm completely humbled by the comments you've been putting on against my videos. I don't know. I don't quite see what you're seeing, but I'm just an ordinary guy from a village yokel, and but thank you very much. I'm going to talk about the guitar a little bit later, but for the moment, I just want to. First of all, I've got my grandchildren said, "Grandad, next time you make a video, could you mention us?" How can I resist? I've got 4 grandchildren, and it's 2 years ago since I cuddled 3 of them, and one of them I've never cuddled. I'm what I call an endangered species, but 2 of them in England. Hello Freddie, hello Alexander, Grandad loves you very much. And the other 2 are in Australia, and my arms won't reach that far to cuddle them. So hello Benny, hello Carter, and I love you both very much. I can't wait to see you again one day. So that's my grandchildren. Now I've just got to. I know I keep going on about my hand size, and I don't want to dwell on this, but I had somebody comment about that they thought the glove that there's the big video, the video that's attracted quite a bit of following. I show with my hand in a glove, and the person who commented was pretty confident this glove had come from a garage where the gloves are much bigger, and it just makes my hand look, smaller. Well, I don't know what to say about that. I said that my little finger is about the same size as an AA battery, and the glove that I used in the previous video actually came from Sainsbury's, not a garage. And I've got a different type of glove also from Sainsbury's here, and it says a one size glove. There you are. I'm not advertising Sainsbury's, it's just that you can get, it's very difficult to get gloves at the moment, very difficult, so I'm just glad if I can get some. So I'm just going to pull one of these out just to make this point very quickly. So here we are. And I don't know which is the best, and as you can see, so let me pull that one down. Oh, that one. As you can see, they're a heck of a lot shorter than that glove. That's it, I've made my point now, I'm moving on from that. I wanted to just talk about my early life, because I have had a very unusual and interesting life, and some people have asked me if I could share it, so I'm just going to share little bits of it now and again. I was born in the Cotswolds. My father was a wonderful craftsman, in wood in particular, and my mother was an entertainer. She's an absolute through and through entertainer, my mother. And her side of the family, my granddad Booth, he used to play an accordion, and my mother used to play the organ, a violin, a flute, all sorts of instruments. And my granddad and my mother and my mother's sister, auntie, they used to go around entertaining people in these, particularly older people, in these all sorts of villages and small towns everywhere. And they used to do quite a bit of entertaining in somewhere called Derby and Joan, which is like a club for older people. And they didn't charge for it. It was a charitable thing that they did because they loved people and they loved to entertain. Well, of course, I got dragged into it, and so did my sister. And I remember, even I was probably as young as 5, and they'd have my sister and I'd be dressed in nightgowns, and they'd have a sort of a false window on the back of the stage, and we used to stand up out of a bed and sing this song. Now, I would normally accompany this song on the guitar, but unfortunately I've got my hand stuck in my wife's handbag because I'm trying to find some beer money. Anyway, I'll stick this tune now without, anyway. And it went something like this, because I remember it. It went, good night, Mr. Moon, we shall have to go and leave you. Good night, Mr. Moon, come again and see us soon. And when we're asleep, through the window pane you'll peep. We'll wake up and call out, good night, Mr. Moon. A bit of silly reminiscent there. And at one of these Derby and Joan clubs, I remember I was dressed up as a cowboy and I had to sing She'll Be Coming Round the Mountains, and I had a cap gun, but I wasn't strong enough to let the caps off and it's gone. So my father was in the back of the horse and my uncle was in front of this pantomime horse, and I had to sit on their back and sing Coming Round the Mountains, and they had to have somebody else behind the screen with another cap gun, and every time I had to let the gun off they did it because I couldn't do it. She'll be coming round the mountains when she goes bang bang. Anyway, lots of lovely people, like elderly people, and I don't know whether anybody can remember this, but they gave me, at the end of this show, they gave me all these old-fashioned rhythmic bits, you know, whatever they are, seven-sided or whatever they are, and I don't know whether there's anybody still around who can remember them, but I still remember it. Anyway, I really, you know, that's how I started really, and I've always been interested like my mother. Got a bit old now. Now I just want to say that, look, my life, well, life in itself to me is a puzzle. You're always being presented with problems, new problems, and I always try and find a way out of it. And I look for ways. There must be another way to do it, or another way of doing it, and that's how I've been. That's how I am. And I remember, because I had ill health, I won't go into it, but chest problems, I was sent away to a convalescent home when I was younger, a couple of times in the Isle of Wight, and in the second time I was down, I think I was around 11, I was sort of a prefect, and one of the jobs we had to do was get a couple of boys to help tidy up the classroom at the end of the day. And everybody had gone, and I was in this classroom, and I had another little chap. He's quite a weak chap and timid, and I left him in there with another boy. What they were tidying up the chairs and that. And I went out. I can't remember why I went out. But when I came back, this little chap was nearly crying. And I decided, well, it's my job to protect him. So I tried to stand up to this other boy, being a bully. Well, I got battered, didn't I? Something terrible. And I thought, from now on, chap, you better decide that fighting's not for you. You better find alternative ways. So when I moved from my little, an example, when I moved from my little village school, tiny little village, and I moved into this huge secondary school in a nearby town, wow, what a shock. And because I was small and I got picked on something rotten, so I thought, I've got to find a way around this. So I made friends with this bloke, and he's called Tank Farley. Well, he was a tank. And I remember a friend of mine who ended up being my best man, he had a bit of a squabble with Tank Farley, and Tank stood against his brick wall, and my mate was just battering into him, and Tank wasn't taking any notice at all. So I made friends with Tank. Well, if he stood in front of you, it was like an eclipse of the sun. And from the day I made friends with him, I don't know why, but I was everybody's mate in that school from then on. So find solutions, find a way around your problems if you can. So now I'm going to talk about the guitar now. And somebody said to me one day, do you do any finger picking? And I said, well, if I had done any finger picking, I'd have picked longer ones than I've got. Well, I'm going to show you something now. We're just going to go onto the guitar a bit for a minute. Now, I've done this in a bit of a hurry because I'm trying to show I've talked about the F chord before, because everybody's fear is this wretched F chord. And I have spoken about it on another video, but it's not a problem. What the mistake I made, and you do make mistakes, but you've just got this idea that you see chords from just the open chords at the top end of the guitar, and you think, now, I mean, I can put my hand straight on an F chord. I don't even think about it, but that's just practice. But most people find it difficult, even with long fingers. They find it difficult. So I'm going to try and show you again a way of rethinking it. Now, this is my usual technology. You know how wonderful I am if you've seen my other videos. This is an E chord, and as you can see, it's showing using fingers 1, 2 and 3. Now you should use that. That's a good way. I often play like that most of the time. But if you think about it just for a little while, in terms of using these fingers, which is a 2, 3 and 4 finger, what you get is, so here's that's the 1, 2 and 3 finger, but if you swap those for these, same chord, but this finger's free. Now look, watch. There's a tune there of some sort, isn't there? And what it is, all I'm doing is moving the same positioning of my fingers, just sliding them up the neck. Now I went from 1 to 6 to 8, 6, 8. Now, if you can just get that hang of that, just doing it with those fingers, you can play a tune now, and all you got is one chord. I'm only playing parts of the chord down here, but it's okay. Now when you move it up, if I move that, play there now, if I move it up to here now, I've got an A chord. Take that finger off, finger back on. So all you're doing is moving and putting this finger down, and this happens for most chords that are in the open position, all of them. You swap the fingers, so you leave this finger free. So don't think of grabbing a guitar and putting straight on a chord. Think of working towards it. So, you know, start with a simplified part of the chord and then try and add to it. And it goes. So that's what I wanted to do, to try. And I'm sorry, there's a lot of people out there who are way better guitarists than me. Well, I'm not trying to tell you your job. I'm just trying to help people who are at early stages of the guitar or have had difficulty. A lot of people have said the wretched F chord has put me off a guitar, or I've struggled with it, and I've struggled. That's probably because you keep trying to land your fingers on in one lump like this, which you do eventually. But to begin with, try and think of it like that. And you'll get those 3, so they drop on there, and then you can just add the other finger, and eventually you'll get it, and it won't be the big problem. Now, I did write this stupid song. I'm probably going to mess it up because I know it's excuses, full of excuses I am, but I'm not in a good position to play the guitar because of the way I'm having to video, but because I have to have my guitar exactly right, resting on my leg and the strap. Just me. I'll try and play this song, but I might make a mess up. So, you know, old people are allowed to make a mistake, aren't they? I'm standing on the corner waiting for you. If you want to, whatever shall I do? Go to shouldn't it? But never mind, it just shows you. I'm just trying to show you could, one position, just moving up and down, you can do a song. So there's your incentive to get going. Quick, I could be doing, make your own songs up. That's what I did. You can tell that's a made-up song. But there's a lot of songs I couldn't think of one that actually would use that chord sequence. So look, I can't tell you how grateful I am that the number of people that have hit my video, whatever they call it, hit it, smack it, visited it, whatever, and and the number of followers I got on. Oh, people have hit that bell. I'm still looking for the bell. I'm sure somebody will tell me I can find it. I know it's somewhere on the screen, but I'm hopeless. I really am hopeless. My son thinks I've got the mental age of a 14-year-old, but I'm quite pleased about that, because my daughter thinks my mental age is near a 10-year-old. Right, just got to tell you another thing, just one other thing, and I admit my mistakes where I can, not always. Anyway, myself and my wife were having a bit of a ding-dong. You know, we were playing the church bells. No, we weren't, but what that means in old people's language here is a ding-dong is a bit of a fallout, a bit of a niggle at each other. So she was sitting on the sofa, and we had this bit, I can't even remember what it was about, and I said to her, "You just think I'm a blooming pleb." And I stormed out of the room, and I thought, when I got out of the room, I thought, well, do you actually know what a pleb means? And I thought, I don't. So I went and looked it up on the computer. I couldn't manage to do that. And I looked at what pleb meant. And I thought, what? So I went back into the room. My wife was sitting there. She wasn't really angry. She doesn't know anger. And I said, I just accuse you of calling me a pleb. She said, yes. I said, well, I think you're right. And we both laughed. Anyway, just one thing before I go. We're going through terrible times all over the world with this wretched virus. So, a lot of people on their own, a lot of people got no company, can't go anywhere. So, why don't you phone somebody up and make their day? Just say hello. If you know anybody, particularly old people, it'd be wonderful. And if you're falling out with somebody, make it up. You'll feel great afterwards. Life's short. Cheerio. That's to all the ladies. Cheerio.